We started looking for a house, and at the same time our children started having their children, and we started to think about maybe having a house that was a little more than just a place to go to sleep at night, and instead was maybe a place that grandchildren wanted to come to. This house was on a golf course, had a tennis court, a swimming pool, and all kinds of fun things for kids to do. So even though the house was completely unupdated from its previous format, we purchased it anyway, knowing that someday we would do something with it and try to make it a little more our style. The pool is probably the biggest thing. They seem to have me confused with a device called a jungle gym. So I spend an inordinate amount of time in the pool with grandchildren climbing all over me and asking me to throw them or hold them or watch them or tow them around or whatever the case might be. One of the fears that we had going into this was we'd worked with people before, and there were two problems with things that we'd done in other houses and other parts of the country. One was that the architects or designers that we worked with tended to have their own concepts and not really be flexible at all about understanding that we wanted it to somehow reflect us. The second thing that was a problem from the past was my poor wife, who works very, very hard. The last time we did anything with a home, she was in law school. She just had no opportunity to be a part of that process in any way, shape, or form. Chris was the exact opposite of all of those things for us. Listening to us and kind of engaging with us and pulling from us because we didn't even know what we wanted. What I love about what Chris has done is that the house is still quirky, but it's updated and contemporary. It still has character, it has unique features. It kind of gives you a little bit of a wow when you pull up the driveway, and yet you come inside and you think to yourself, this works. It's a terrific place for large groups, tons of space, tons of great traffic flow. All of the things that the old house was missing, and yet it still is a house with a character to it. As daunting as it was when there were parts of walls removed and holes poked in things and cranes lifting beams into place and giant windows being assembled, as nerve-wracking and ridiculous as that process was as it was unfolding, is as rewarding as it is when it's done. My poor wife looks at me and says, "Wow, am I glad we did this." We looked around quite a bit. We went and visited architects' work. We met with different architects. And there were several aspects of working with Chris that we really, really liked. The first of which is that we just felt a kinship with him right away. He was the type of person that we could be friends with. And that made us feel like we would then be able to communicate properly. And at the end of the day, it was the best decision we ever could have made, because he was both an incredibly wonderful person to work with and an incredibly talented person to work with. I think the results kind of speak for themselves, and those results are because he knew what he was doing, not because we did.